Hi guys, welcome to Life Theory.
Today we're going to talk about how we make a podcast.
And we have a second camera! Roll intro! So, we were talking and we wanted to do a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
We're ending off the series and, of course, both are the season, and both of us are, goofballs. So we really wanted to end it on a fun note, interesting note, and it's kind of almost like fan service. Like those who actually want to watch and want to know about us. And most of ours are topics. You want to know about love. You want to know about attraction. You want to, and we kind of topic based for the most part. So this is kind of a departure.
Yeah.
Us based. A little selfish, but So yeah, if you want to know how we do it, maybe get an idea. If you wanted to do a podcast for yourself, maybe you could take some tips from how we do it to do one yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
But first, as is tradition, we have a drink.
Yeah. So I went back to making a latte. Things got interesting, so they're a little bit cold now.
Yeah, we kind of got carried away in setting up for the setup talk.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're cold but still good.
Yeah.
That's how you know latte is good, is that it's still good when cold.
These are vanilla, hazelnut, butterscotch lattes.
Oh. In fact, we should even talk about the history of why we have drinks.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You don't? I do. It just became a thing that every time I went to your house, I would have coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Back in Coleman.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started going to your house every single week to live stream the OG podcast, the Odd Unicorn podcast. We should have that link down below.
Yeah.
We'll link that down below. It's atrocious. I rewatched some of the episodes. They're some of them are decent. Some of them are decent. A lot of them are a little bit trash. In fact, a lot of what we did there, we learned from, to be able to do this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of where that came from. It's just, we always had coffee.
Yeah. Yep.
And now it's a tradition. And now we got a bunch of matching cups, which is fun.
Yes. We have, I don't know if, should we tell them, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we have, specific cups that we've been using.
Yes, we well, I shouldn't say we. You and Ruth found some matching sets.
Yeah, so Silas has had this cup for a while.
Yes, I got this from my dear sister Joy. Right? Or was this from you?
Yeah, you got it from me.
Never mind.
He gets so many coffee cups from people he forgets.
I do. I got a lot.
I almost forgot who he got it from.
So I got this from Ruth and Andrew.
Yeah.
And I love it. It says Slothy. Because sloth coffee,
Yeah. And Ruth and I found another one at a Goodwill.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, well, okay then. And then I have a mug. The other one that we use is like a big chunky white mug with, to you it probably just looks like polka dots on it, but those are actually gummy bears.
Yeah.
And I've had one for a while, and then we found another one, same thing, at Goodwill. And so I was like, well, perfect. Now we have matching mugs, and then the other cups that we use for when I make lemonades and stuff, is just Ruth and I have a set of 4 Coca-Cola glasses.
Yeah, like the OG Coca-Cola glasses.
Yeah, they're so cool. Yeah. So ever since, because it wasn't
It was
always
like season 2, really, where it started to be a consistent thing.
Yeah, or like halfway through season 1, something like that. But yeah, ever since then we've always had matching mugs. Even the times when we've had guests, we always have all matching cups.
Yep. Yeah, that takes a little more ingenuity because especially the hot drinks are pairs of 2.
Yeah.
So you basically have to do cold drinks for guests. See, there's a little bit you didn't know. We have to do cold drinks for guests because of our cup assortment.
Yeah.
So that was a very good deep dive. On to more of the setup because that's just still
that's what we're here for.
That's still
today.
what we're here for, and I anticipate this being a little bit longer.
Yeah, it'll probably be a little bit longer.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
it'll be fun. Whoa, okay. There's technical difficulties.
Yeah,
we actually forgot to set up our script, which we'll actually be talking about in just a minute.
Yeah,
but we want to start with our setup, like our hardware. What are we using?
Mm-hmm. So we have a microphone, and a couch.
we do. Yeah, fun story about this couch. I got it basically for free. Because at the time I had a minivan, and someone had a couch in their, I don't know what it was, just some sort of like bungalow storage system. I don't know. And they didn't want it. So I drove with a friend of mine. We went, picked it up. It's really nice.
It's a nice couch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, we have, so obviously camera.
Yeah.
We have a couple lights, 3 lights to be more precise.
Mm-hmm.
Just to give, so we can get our exact type of lighting we want, no matter how bright it is outside or whatever.
Or how
not bright it is outside.
Yep, that's why like this blacks out. So whether it's day or night, this is still dark.
Yeah, there's a blackout curtain there. And then we also have a soundboard that the microphone is going into.
Yep, and we only, for the most part, we only have one microphone actually, which is different than a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's again a decision that I had made for the Odd Unicorn podcast. We actually started with 2.
Yeah.
And there was some issues with it that by now we could have solved. But I realized having 1 makes it an easier and more natural conversation.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
We've definitely incorporated other setups. Like especially if we have guests. Like we did that. But no matter what, the same philosophy applies of we want to make the microphone not a part of someone.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we also have Silas's computer that has the audio recording going. It has a display for what the camera is seeing, so we can get that set up, and then also for the script that we make.
Yep. The one that we're reading right now.
Yeah, more or less. Our script is interesting.
Yeah. Well, we'll go through that in a bit.
Yeah.
First thing, let's kind of dive in. All right, camera. What's that all about?
So what we pretty much.
Oh wait, I think. Was I taking that one?
I
was taking that one. Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter too much either way. But for the camera, there's kind of 3 things. 2 of which I do, 1 of which you're kind of the king of.
Yes.
When it comes to like focus and exposure, it's kind of my department. I love the photography and videography, and it's just kind of just the way it's been. Because with the way our setup is, we have an old camera, so it doesn't focus on faces. It just focuses on whatever's in the middle of the frame.
It's really annoying, actually.
Which is that.
Yeah.
So we have to focus manually. And if we bump it, or if the camera decides to change focus because it got turned off, which it does sometimes, basically we have to check the focus every single time.
Every time.
So a bit of a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta deal with what you got.
Mm-hmm.
And then exposure really only changes when we like change up our setup. Like once we figure it out, we gotta figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then angle, it's just if you bump it, which happens almost every week.
Yeah.
And
Well, it doesn't help that it's your main desk as well.
Yes.
That's where it's sitting on.
So it's sitting on my main desk. This is like, you know, a general purpose room.
Mm-hmm.
Other than sleeping.
Yeah.
I sleep somewhere else because I sacrificed my bed for...
Put a blanket on the floor right here. Sleep on the floor.
Just sleep right there. Oh, boy. But, yeah. So that's kind of camera. And then another thing that helps with exposure is lighting.
Lighting. We have 3 lights. There's one back there, which is kind of shining up onto the ceiling. It's a white ceiling. So it kind of gives us that downward light from that side, but still it's bright enough that it's also, I don't know, it's just kind of covering that whole left side.
Mm-hmm. And that would be called like the fill light.
Yeah. So that's just kind of filling in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then this light, we have a light right here. That's kind of our
key light.
Key light and main lighting on our face. Make sure we don't have weird shadows and stuff like that.
And give us interesting shadows.
Yes.
That's the other thing. So that we don't look like a flat, like, wall.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's an issue if you don't light yourself right.
Yeah. And then we have a light in our window here.
Backlight / hair light / window light.
Yeah. Because, I don't know, at first it was just kind of the idea of, like, it's kind of weird just having this blank window here. And so we also needed a light back there for, like, if we turned it off, you'd notice a difference. And
it just looks more dull.
Yeah.
And it looks like there's nothing going on back there.
Throw a light in the window.
And it worked.
Yeah. So it always looks like it's day out, but we usually are recording at like 9 o'clock at night.
Yep. So it's the illusion.
Yes.
As a former magician, I'm very happy with myself.
Yes.
And then the sound, which I'm actually going to use my camera. Of course, first of all, this is a microphone, specifically a large diaphragm condenser, which means it's good at picking up low-end noises. It's good at picking up a lot of noise. It's really sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get a little too high or a little too low, it's either you hear nothing or you hear way too much.
Yeah, like you probably, for those of you who are more particular in audio, you've maybe noticed that Silas and I talk at different, like we have a different pitch in our voice. I am actually talking way quieter than Silas.
Yeah.
Because I always do. We have it turned a little bit. It's picking up his voice very well. It's picking up my voice.
Yeah.
And
so,
awesome.
like, our voices on Audacity look about the same, even though I am definitely talking louder. But between it picking up bass better and being pointed a little bit towards you, that kind of solved it, which is actually an issue we'd been having for a while.
Yeah.
Of me being louder and it being a pain in the butt to try to make that not the case. And we're just like, wait a minute, what if we just
turn the microphone?
And
so audio output it's the same loudness for both of us, but
exactly.
Yeah.
Without having to do anything weird. Just goes to show sometimes the most complicated problems have the simplest solutions.
Yes.
Anyway, you've also probably seen this in the one episode I did on my own. Oh, is this on? Yep. Hello. Whoa, sorry. This is just a new mic that I got to replace another pencil mic I had that I actually gave to the church because this one doesn't work with the church's system.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, I'm going to show you guys the soundboard real quick and Audacity. So right here, this is the soundboard. We have right here is this is the main microphone. switches to camera 1. And then this is the microphone I'm holding right now. This one right here. And so, for those of you that know, this is like an analog microphone, analog board. All the controls here, and then it comes here, and then there's a USB cord that comes out, goes to the trusty computer, and then we're recording on a wonderful piece of software called Audacity, which, if anyone knows anything about audio, you've probably heard about this. It's pretty great.
It's amazing. We've been using it to record audio. I've been using it to record audio for 15 years. Because at Pioneer, we've been using Audacity since it came out. Well, I can't say that. I don't know how old Audacity
is. Probably close to it.
But we've been using it since forever.
Yeah.
And what we used before that was those little cassette tapes or whatever they're
like a tape recorder.
Yeah, we had a tape recorder. And then we went to the computer and started using Audacity.
And that's it.
That's what I've been using ever since then.
I gotta say, though, if you do need an editor and you don't want to pay for it, Audacity.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Like, nothing free has ever come close to how good Audacity is.
It's amazing.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else either costs money and is definitely better.
Yeah.
You know, you got like Audition from Adobe or Logic Pro from Apple.
Mm-hmm.
But those are, $50 a month or a one-time $300 payment. Or for free, you get almost as much.
Yeah.
Audacity is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're watching Audacity, yes, I do want you to sponsor me. Do it.
Yes, please.
We will take all your money and we will shill. But it actually, that's another thing about it. It's free because it's open source.
Yeah.
So they can actually afford. They get help from community. They get donations. You got a lot of stuff. So if you want to help out Audacity as well, do it. If you're a coder or if you got a lot of money.
Yes.
So yeah, that's kind of the sound end. And then we get to DaVinci, the editing. That is his department.
I do the editing.
Maybe talk about ingestion too of footage.
Oh yeah. So I do our editing for how long have I been?
You've been doing editing
since the 5th episode.
The 5th episode.
Season 1.
Yeah, I think
so. Was it that soon?
It
was pretty quick.
Yeah, somewhere between the 5th and the 8th episode.
Yeah. So I've been doing the editing, ever since then. For those of you who do video editing, you may recognize the software I use. There's software called DaVinci Resolve. It's a free software with available subscription.
No, one-time purchase.
One-time purchase. Which, if you're going to start video editing, just use the free stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah, you might never need to upgrade.
Yeah. Everything I've looked into about different features of the upgrade versus the free, the free is just as good.
Yeah, the only thing that's actually better that we would notice is it just renders faster.
Yeah, renders faster, and there's a few features that are definitely nicer.
Yeah, but it's aimed at studio people.
Yeah.
But if you're an individual and you're not on a tight budget, you absolutely just, or tight time budget, I meant to say.
Yeah.
The free version is amazing.
Yeah. It's also very complicated. So
which is actually why, and that's why I also edit. I pay for a worse editor.
Uh-huh.
so far paid a total of $110 for the original plus an upgrade.
Uh-huh.
It's worse.
Yeah.
Not by a ton.
No, yeah.
But it's worse. But it's so much easier to use. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that's one thing for sure. Like, DaVinci Resolve is a very complicated video editor.
Yes.
You can also do audio editing within the editor.
And 3D effects.
Yeah, and 3D effects. It's
It's
awesome.
insane.
Yeah, it's super complicated. I like complicated things, so I've enjoyed using it. I brought up, actually, when I started, I installed like 3 different video editors.
Okay.
I've edited the first video with DaVinci. Then I came to the second video, pulled up one of the other ones that's easier and stuff, and I was just like, nah. Went back to DaVinci. I've been using it ever since.
Yeah. Honestly, that's honestly just the best thing to do. Like, I got spoiled because I started on Premiere, which is also complicated, but not nearly as complicated as DaVinci.
Yeah.
It's a lot more intuitive. And so after being raised on Premiere Pro and Windows Movie Maker and, like, you know, very intuitive editors, I went to DaVinci and I was like,
Yeah. So there's been a few things that I've spent hours working on. Then I look up a video or a few videos, and I'm like, it would have been quick and easy to fix.
and it's like, oh, you hit this button.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of funny, too, that it's a complicated editor.
Mm-hmm. That you could literally make, like, full budget movies, feature films.
Easily. But we do minimal editing.
Yeah, we almost do nothing.
This episode's going to take more because of our second camera. And some that blip we had earlier with our technical difficulties.
Yes.
But other than that, usually I throw an episode in and we actually record 2 separate things. We record the video on its own separate thing on SD card on the camera itself, and then we record the audio on a separate file through Audacity. And then so anyway, I throw both of those into the editor and throw them both, and usually it's I cut off the beginning, I cut off the end, I cut out the little part where we say roll intro and then we start in again. There's usually just a little blip of time in there, and I insert the intro, and that's it. That's usually all I do.
Yeah. Well, because like because of the last podcast. So we learned a lot from the last podcast.
Yeah.
Especially doing it live. It taught us a lot of skills you wouldn't normally have. For instance, you can't edit the color in post if you're doing it live.
Yeah.
So I kind of got in the habit of setting as much as I can, setting my colors in camera and setting my exposure in camera and setting everything, my audio, setting that, on. That's why I have a full board set up rather than just like one USB mic that we just have to edit the audio later. Like, I kind of have a live first approach, and because both of us, a lot of our expertise comes from church.
Yeah.
From churches. And there ain't no post.
No.
It's now or never. So it kind of allows us, because of our setup, to really not have to do much afterwards. Which is 100% intentional.
I also do the thumbnail, which I use something called GIMP. GIMP.
Yep.
It's another super complicated photo editor.
It's like GIMP is to Photoshop what Linux is to Windows.
Yeah. Again, I use a super complicated editor for super minimal editing.
It's just like
I screenshot
text.
a blip from. I usually screenshot a few moments from the while I'm editing, and then I'll pick the right one. I'll pop it in. I'll type out the wording that I put on the thumbnail. Make sure it's centered properly and everything, and then save it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
pretty simple.
it's a little crazy when I think about it like that. But it's what did I used GIMP for something years ago. I don't remember why.
I feel like I told you about it.
Yeah, but I don't remember what I used it for.
I don't know either.
Anyway, and so that's just what I knew. Anyway.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
So, can you use Photoshop? Nah, too complicated. Use GIMP though.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Oh, that's great. And so that kind of like fills out the editing section.
Yeah. Yep.
You also do description and title.
Oh yeah, yeah. I usually.
Oh, and run the Instagram.
Oh, I forgot about Instagram. I've missed a few posts.
Well, you'll get your post soon. As well as probably a post saying that we're gonna go live next week.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. So yeah, I kind of run the uploading. Well, I say upload because I edit. It'd be kind of dumb for me to edit and then send it to you and then you upload. So I do that and then I run the Instagram, which is it's just screenshot the episode and be like, hey, this episode's out. Oh, and talking about like, hey, we're gonna do a live episode.
Mm-hmm. So it's not super happening.
Yeah.
Maybe season 3. We'll see.
Maybe, yeah. Oh, I guess I have done a few other things in Instagram. Anyway, all that.
And yeah.
I thought
Description.
I gotta type out the description for each video.
Yeah. Oh, and we have a really cool software called Spotify for Creators.
Oh, it's so
Used
nice.
to be Anchor.
Yeah.
I've tried to get some people on it. A couple people are like find it very daunting because the setup is daunting.
Yeah.
Well, not gonna lie.
It's a once and done.
Setup is daunting, but once you get it set up, you literally hit upload onto that. You put in description, you put in episode number, you put in your thumbnail, put in your video. Hit publish, and it goes to every single podcasting app. Spotify, it goes to, what is it? Spotify, Apple Music, Pocket Casts, Amazon Music, Cloudcast.
It does Apple Music?
Yeah, Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts?
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it didn't. No, I'm thinking of something else. Never mind.
But yeah, so it goes to every single, other than YouTube. YouTube, I think there's a way to do it.
YouTube has their own system. You literally just create a podcast playlist in YouTube, and it creates its own podcasts.
Mm-hmm. I think there is technically a way to do it, but you wouldn't get video.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so if you want video through YouTube, you have to upload it directly. Which is why we do upload it directly to YouTube, so you guys can see our pretty faces. Okay, there's only one pretty face right here. But yeah, so then it allows us to have a video podcast on YouTube and Spotify, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that is our editing. On to kind of the fun one, the scripting, which we got, 10 minutes?
We have...
Yeah, probably about that.
Something like that, maybe a bit more.
We might go a bit over time.
Yeah, we'll go.
Scripting we don't do a ton of scripting. It's more bullet points. Like here, let me pull it up, switch to the second camera, and bam! I love this 5x zoom. So right here, this is our entire script. All right, read it in week, boys.
And that's how most of our scripts look.
Yeah.
In general.
So it's just kind of the idea, like it showed there, like you saw. It's to make it more condensed and less rambling.
Mm-hmm.
Another lesson we learned from doing a live podcast.
Yeah.
We would come up with a topic and hit go. And then we'd be like, we're talking about this. So, what are we talking about? He's like, well, let me get a definition. Okay, here we go. I was like, oh, cool. So, and then we'd just start talking. And then there would be a lot of rambling.
Yeah.
And then the last, and this was an hour-long podcast.
Uh-huh.
About the last 10 minutes before we did our outro, we would actually have some good things to say.
Yep.
Because that's when we actually finally figured it out.
Yep.
So instead, we use the 30, 40 minutes before hitting record to do the rambling.
Yes.
And then we all write it down in bullet points to remember what we said in our rambling and make it less rambly.
Yeah.
It still rambles. We still ramble sometimes. But it's great. So yeah, that's the first reason. OUP?
On Unicorn Podcast.
Oh, yeah, we already talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
So why do we use definitions?
We use definitions to just help.
That's one thing we use, by the way.
Yes. To help keep everyone on the same page. And, most of our podcasts we start out with a definition because they're like, hey, we're talking about this. And just to make sure we're all on the same page, here's the definition.
Yeah, what are we actually talking about? Because in the English language, in most every language, words get used, reused, changed, and misinterpreted. Like, I even think of words like, I don't know. There's a lot of words that have connotations. Like, I'll say this word and fully explain myself, and if someone comes in the comments, I don't care. But like the word gay, it was used for a very long time as a word that means happy, joyful. The keep the Yuletide gay. That is a line from a Christmas carol, saying let's keep the Christmas season happy. And then that got misused to mean someone that's homosexual.
Yep.
And so the English language keeps changing, sometimes in good ways, sometimes in bad ways, sometimes in ways that don't make any difference, sometimes in ways that don't make any sense. But that's why we use definitions.
Yep.
To keep everyone on the same page. And what dictionary do we always use?
The Webster's 1828 dictionary.
It's a beautiful dictionary from a man that was not only very intelligent, but also very Bible-based. Which is why I really like it. It's modern enough to be, it's like got most of the modern words. But it's old enough that it's based on facts, reality, and it's based off the Word of God. So it allows you to really, especially with our worldview, to get accurate definitions. That's actually what we're trying to say we're talking about, rather than what the world's twisted it in modern times to mean.
Yep. Speaking of the Bible,
we are Christians.
Yes.
We're not ashamed of it. We don't try to hide it. We're very, very open about it. And I think literally everyone should be. That's one thing I'm not, wishy-washy about.
Yeah, so obviously not all of our podcast episodes are like, here's something that's a Bible verse and we're going to talk about it. Because that's not what we have this podcast for.
Yeah, no, that's not the purpose of the podcast.
But we like to try to, well, we're Christians. Everything we do should be based off of what God says, what God's view on things is. And the Bible is the only thing with full authority. And so if something can't be applied according to God's word, then it's just not worth it.
Yeah. So, like, I know for most, not all, but most of our podcasts, we've tried to incorporate the Bible in some way. We try to accurately represent it. So I also try to be very careful not to incorporate the Bible in, like, loose ways or ways that don't really make sense or don't really apply.
Yeah.
I have seen that in some podcasts where it's like, it's a Christian podcast, so we're going to have Bible verses. And I think you should be very careful to use, the verses in context when they apply, where they apply.
Yeah.
And so both of us are very careful about that. But yeah, we do try to incorporate Bible verses in most of our, if not, we try to incorporate it in all of them. Sometimes we forget.
There's been a few that we
because I want this not just to be two guys talking. There's way too many podcasts. Two young guys talk. Like, I want this to actually have substance. Because this is more or less my brainchild, Like, this is kind of a continuation of season 4 of the Odd Unicorn podcast. And that was really when we started, like, getting more into, like, no, what do we actually want people to take away from this? Rather than it just being like, oh, two guys talking. It's like, no, here's an idea. Here's a question. How do we answer that question? And we will use facts, logic, reasoning, even emotion, and more than anything, truth. Yes. Which ultimate truth is the Word of God. The only source of truth. True source of truth. So, yeah, we want stuff with substance. So it's always biblically based. And so we always want to try to incorporate the words so that you can actually have something to take home. And something to be able to just... Wow, hold up. How do I end this? Yeah, just have something to take home that actually has substance.
Yeah.
Rather than just opinions. Because opinions are fine too. We have a ton of opinions on here. But they don't have authority.
Yeah. And then finally the like you were mentioning kind of that certain things are not our goal with this podcast.
Yeah, what is our goal? What's the overall idea of life theory?
Yeah, well, theory.
Theory.
We like to, I don't know if you've noticed, but nearly every episode is a question in some way or another. And our main goal with this podcast is to get you guys to think.
Yes.
We don't want to just be here pumping facts and information in your face.
Yeah, I don't ever want to hear from someone, yeah, I told my friend that you said. It's like, no, it's not about what I said. I want to get you guys to think and then come up with your own ideas.
Yeah, because like we've actually had some episodes where we've gone through, we've done our normal episode progression, and it ends kind of like we wrap it up, but it didn't really cover everything. Well, it's because we want you to be like, huh, what about, and look into it yourself.
Yeah. Be like, well, I don't know if I agree with you. Like, maybe we'll say an opinion based opinion of our conclusion based off of what we know, and they're like, I don't know if I agree with that. And it's like, all right, let's look it up.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
We
tell us in the comments.
Hear.
We really do, honestly. Because, like, that's the entire goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when we started this, our goal, now we're aimed mostly at teenagers. I know we have people of all ages watching, and I love that. But, like, our main aim is teenagers. And our goal is to actually, it's practical application of biblical truths.
Yeah.
So, and when I say biblical truths, it might not be directly Bible verses. It might be biblical principles, biblical concepts, or biblical ways to approach life.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all that practical application, because a theory in science is what is the conclusion after an experiment.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we're just kind of using word experiments and discussion as our experiment to come to a theory.
Mm-hmm.
But I would really love it if the life theory viewers would use life as the experiment and develop their theories based on that. Because, like, you got your question. We always have a question. And we have a hypothesis, which is what you think will happen before the experiment. You have the experiment. And then you have, which is, doing something that you think will cause the reaction that you hypothesized. You have data collection, where you go back and look at your experiment and say, what actually did happen? And then with all that, you have your theory. What do you think answers this question? So I want you guys to use the scientific model in your life. If we talk about attraction, if we talk about patience, if we talk about, I don't know, what else have we talked about?
A lot of stuff.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Is TikTok evil? Like,
It is.
It is. No. But, sleep, faithfulness, clicks. What is a click? Ask yourself the same question and then do some experiments.
Yeah.
Right? We want this to be a springboard into the giant ocean of infinite knowledge and the wisdom that comes from God.
Yeah, and that is how we make a podcast.
Yeah. We're a bit over time. I think maybe, because that, like, minus 10.
Something like that, yeah.
So we're over time. But that's fine. I want you guys to tell me in the comments, of all the podcasts we've watched, which one do you either, A, did you like the most, B, have a question about, and what is it, or C, have, like, an idea about, or a disagreement. Maybe you're like, oh, no, I don't think you did this right, and then you have a disagreement. Or, ooh, I think you could have added to it with this. So let us know. Either, what would you do different? What did you enjoy? Or what did you have a question about? Leave those three in the comments, because next week,
yes,
we are doing a live show. And I want everyone there. Now, it's a little last minute because there was a lot of chaos this season.
Yeah.
There was a lot of chaos. And so, it's a little last minute. We didn't preface it long enough, and that's fine. I'll probably post on my socials as well. Maybe you can and Ruth can, and get as many people too as possible. But come to our live. We didn't decide when it's going to be.
Oh, no, we didn't.
Because I don't think Wednesday would be a good plan. Tuesday.
Yeah.
At 7?
Let me check my calendar first, because, life is...
Hold up.
Next.
I'll play the theme music.
That's not our theme music. Yeah, that should work.
Okay.
Because Ruth and I will be gone that weekend, but we're coming back Monday.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And I think 7 would be good because I can get home by 6, so we got
time to set up.
Sweet. All right.
Yeah.
So, next week, Tuesday, 7 o'clock.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. Da, 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 da. Hey, maybe we'll find some... Let's do some Mexican-themed stuff. And the podcast, I don't know 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure what it's going to be about. We'll post on the Instagram post, which you should be following, our Odd Unicorn, our Life Theory Podcast Instagram, link down below. We're going to post when it's going to be and what it's going to be about. And it'll be a great time.
Yeah.
We might even have tacos.
Maybe.
I mean, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to see you guys in the live show. Don't forget those 3 questions. Change, question, favorite podcast. And we'll see you next week.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Bye.